people, today I have a get ready with me. This is gonna be kind of the makeup that I do for photo shoots. I do vary it a little bit as far as the eyeshadow especially, or the cheek color, but for the most part I kind of use more or less these same tones of products. And if you're new here, I'd love to have you subscribe, like, comment. I'd love to have you become part of my little YouTube family. And let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing that I do is that I use a very hydrating cream, and I highly recommend to wear whatever moisturizer is good for your skin, because some people have oily skin, some people have drier skin. I have more dry combination skin, and I absolutely love this Tatcha Dewy. It just really hydrates and gives like a dewiness to my skin, so I really highly enjoy it. And when I go on vacation especially, I just use this as an all over cream, and then I don't worry about like putting an eye cream or anything like that. After that, I'm going to apply the Saie. This is their Starglow Glowy. I use some kind of glowy base for underneath my foundation. That's just going to be personal preference. The one that I absolutely loved was the Charlotte Tilbury. That one had a little bit of color to it, and I might repurchase in the future, but I have so many primers that are shimmery like this that give like that glow to the skin that I want to use those up first before repurchasing the Charlotte Tilbury, which I used up in a project pan. I know e.l.f. Cosmetics has a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury, and a lot of people say that it is really close to it, and you can look into that. But I just take a few pumps of that, and you can use the MAC strobe cream. There's so many different brands. I'm just currently trying to use up this one, so this is what I'm going to apply underneath, and you can definitely tell that it gives a lot of radiance to my skin. When I was in Greece and I did my photo shoot over there, what I used underneath my foundation was the Super Goop Glow Screen. This is in the shade Golden. I absolutely love this on its own or underneath a base, and this just gives a lot of hydration, a lot of glowiness to the skin, and at the same time it's an SPF, and it's an SPF 40. Highly recommend the Super Goop. Next thing that we're gonna do is apply our base. A lot of times when I'm on a cruise or out somewhere else, I'll just kind of apply it to my hand, go from there and apply it on. Since I am at home, or when I have done photo shoots at home, I usually use, I don't know what they call this, but basically this little tin is where I usually mix foundations, do the whole 9 yards. And the foundation I'm going to be using is the one that I actually used for my photo shoot in Greece, and this is the Bobbie Brown. I like to wear something that's a little bit more full coverage, that is going to cover up a lot more imperfections. On a daily basis, I use more lightweight foundations, but you can definitely tell that this one is a fuller coverage. As you can see there, it's really thick on here on this palette. It's a palette on this palette. And what I basically do is I take my foundation brush and I just kind of stipple this on there like that, and then start applying the foundation. And I don't cover my under eye. I kind of leave a space for my under eye because I don't want my under eye to get too cakey. I really love this foundation because it gives just enough coverage. I don't over cake foundation. That's just not my jam. I don't want it to look overly cakey or too thick on. So I just pounce this around. And this foundation has SPF 15. And a lot of people don't really care for the smell. It has a SPF smell, like a really strong SPF smell. So that's just something to know if you're looking into this Bobbie Brown one. But there are just so many great full coverage foundations nowadays. I really like this one just because it's more on the lighter weight. And as you can see there, it is pretty covered on this side, and then I don't have any coverage on there, so that way you guys can see just what a thin layer looks like. And if you feel that the coverage is a little too heavy for your liking, you can take a damp beauty sponge and just kind of press it in and just kind of blend out the areas that you feel are a little too heavy or you want it to blend in a little bit more. And I always travel with brushes and a sponge. I take the bare minimum with me, but just enough for me to be able to actually do my makeup and actually look nice, like on my cruise photos or if I do a photo shoot or anything like that. I also have used this kind of technique for doing photo shoots with my son when he was a baby. I did a breastfeeding photo shoot. I've done a lot of different photo shoots, and then also we love to take pictures on the cruises. Next that I'm going to do is I'm going to cover a little bit of my melasma. I do get melasma here, and especially because I've been doing laser on my hair, I feel like it really kind of provokes it a little bit. And I'm just taking the Bobbie Brown Skin Corrector Stick. This is in light peach. Peach is a good color to cover any kind of darkness. So if you want to color correct melasma or underneath the eyes, highly recommend something with a peachy undertone. Next thing that I'm going to use is one of my all-time favorites. This is the Smashbox Healthy Glow 4-in-1 Perfecting Pen. I have one that's my skin tone, and then I have one that lightens up a little bit. You could just go in with your skin tone, which is what I'm gonna do. This is L20N, and the one that I use for highlighting a little bit more or giving extra brightness underneath the eye is L10N. And then I'm just going to apply this. I don't, because of my age, I have started bringing down the concealer a little bit more, and so I don't apply it directly underneath the eye. If you can see where I'm applying this, it is further down, and this just kind of works for me. A lot of people say to do it on the inner corner, but it just really bunches up for me there. And then what I'm going to do is take a brush. I usually take a fluffy brush. I love the one by Juvia's Place. This is a little bit bigger. My ideal size is this one from Pixie, and this, I don't know, it came in a set and I don't have a name for it. So I'm trying to find something that's a dupe for this. Let me know if anybody knows it. I would prefer it to be synthetic. And what I do is I just pat this and bring it up to cover my dark circles. And then blend out the edges. Then if you wanted to blend it out a little bit more, you could use the pointed side of your blender. Just kind of pat on top and blend it into your foundation down here. And I do feel like this technique really helps as far as like getting into those wrinkles and that, you know, crepey area of the under eye. Especially as you get older, the less product you have is better. And so accumulating most of the product down here and then working up what I need up just kind of works a little bit better for my under eyes. Okay, so now once I've patted that, I'm going to set that in place with the powder that I actually have in my hand. This baby right here is one of my favorites. This is called Diffused Light by Ambient. It's an ambient powder by Hourglass called Diffused Light. And I will list all the products down below. With this, I either use a brush or one of these sponges. And basically what I do is I'll take the sponge, and this gives so much brightness underneath the eye. I just kind of swirl it in my hand, pat it so that I don't have too much. And then I do the same technique where I start from below and then go up and kind of just set everything into place. Then I'm going to do the same thing for my other eye. To set everything into place, especially if you're going to do a photo shoot outside, I highly recommend the MAC Studio Fix powder. This baby is so good and very long wearing, especially if you're going to be doing photos outside. I know like in Greece it was super hot outside and our photo shoot was super early, but still it got hot. And one of the things I like to do is just press a brush into here and then just press it on my skin and just kind of seal everything in. Most days I don't do this on a daily basis for everyday work makeup, just because this is a little bit, it's gonna look a tad bit heavier than if you just dust a little bit of loose powder on top. but because I want the makeup to last and to stay in place, especially if you're going to be doing photo shoots outside, I do like to just press it in and make sure everything sits in place. After I've done that, something that I love taking with me on vacation is this right here. This is the Hoola Secret Oasis, and it actually comes with Hoola Light and Willa. Willa is an absolutely beautiful blush that kind of just is one of those mauvey tones that goes with any eye look, and that's why I love taking this on vacation with me. And I literally take the Hoola with a small brush like this and just kind of contour my face a little bit by hitting the inner part of my cheek, a little bit around my forehead, and then to kind of help with that double chin, I just go along the jawline and a little bit downwards, and that's just going to elongate your neck and make you look slimmer, especially in photos. Next, I'm going to take the blush Willa and just apply a little bit onto a small angled brush, and I'm just going to tap that on my cheeks and then blend it out. And I'm putting it just above that contour and just blending, blending, blending. Next, I'm going to be using a primer. This is by Alter Ego, and this is just an eyeshadow base. And then you can either blend this out with your fingers or a brush. I'm gonna use a brush just because I have these press-ons on. And then I always use just a neutral palette with just beautiful shimmers. I have a ton of recommendations, so I'll try to put as many as I can down below, at least quite a few for you guys. Today I'm going to use the one that I actually took on vacation last time, which is the Ciate London. I have taken the Visart, their little mini 6 pan. I've taken little, is it Natasha Denona? Yeah, I want to say Natasha Denona ones. I've taken a little bit of everything. I usually try to make sure that it's a tiny palette. I don't care to travel with huge palettes. And so anything that's a little bit more compact is usually what I take. I feel like it being this small also helps with it not breaking. The larger the palette, the more you're prone to get breakage of eyeshadows. But this is the one that I took last time, and basically I'm going to show you guys the kind of looks that I do are very, very simple. I go ahead and take a light kind of mid brown and use that as a crease shade. So we're just gonna apply this all over the crease and blend out. Next, I'm gonna use just a little bit of a deeper brown, which is gonna be this one here, just to kind of darken that outer crease just a little bit and give myself a little bit of definition to my eye. And this might not work for you. It's all gonna depend on your eye shape. One of the things that I recommend the most with people when they're learning makeup is to just play around with makeup. It's just makeup, it will wash off. If it looks janky, if it looks horrible on you, if it's not your style, it washes off. I don't know why people take makeup so seriously when it's just makeup. It washes off, it's not that big of a deal. Sometimes I'd be looking crazy when I'm testing out new stuff at work because I want to see how the longevity goes, or if it creases, or if it doesn't look right after a few hours. And I feel like, you know, I don't feel like it's that big of a deal. I'm just testing something out, seeing if it works for me, seeing if it doesn't work for me. Next thing that I'm going to do is take a mid-tone brown, which is this middle one right here, and this is a shimmer shade. And I'm going to apply this probably to just the outer portion of my lid, more towards where I applied that darker shade. Next, I'm going to take a lighter one, and I'm going to use this one right here. And I'm going to use that into my inner corner and the inside of my lid, like that first half of my lid, and then just blend them together. And what this does is just really open my eyes. I have really small almond eyes, and this really helps just open my eyes and make them look larger and brighter, especially in pictures. And if you have large eyes, this might not work for you. You might want to just keep more of a neutral tone all over the lid and maybe just a pop of a shimmer on the inner corner so your eyes don't look way too big. But this is what works for my eyes. Underneath the lash line, I'm just going to take the same first neutral one that we used and apply that underneath the lash line. And voila, that's our eye look. If you wanted to, you could add a little pop of a lighter shimmer on the inner corner. I'll do that now just so you guys can see what that looks like. I'm just going to take my little baby MAC, or no, this is my Sigma smudge brush, and then I'm going to go into this very light shade right here and apply that inner corner just to help pop that. And that just opens up your eye even more and brings more light to the center of your face. Next, I'm going to do my eyebrows. I just kind of follow my natural brow shape with the Benefit Precisely My brow pencil. This is one of my all-time favorite brow pencils. I was purchasing this even before Benefit started sending me brow products. And then I usually just go through, kind of just fill in those little gaps that I have. Not anything too big because my eyebrows are really naturally super dark. So I don't like overly filling them. Gosh, couldn't get that out. So just kind of blending that in. Then to help have them stay in place, I love the 24-hour brow setter. This is another one of my staples that I have always had in my collection, even before partnering with Benefit, because it's one of those eyebrow gels that literally keeps your eyebrows in place. And if you have really dark eyebrows, I highly recommend it because a lot of brow gels will flake on your eyebrows and look really flaky if you have dark, pitch black dark eyebrows like me. And so I feel like this is one of the few that doesn't do that. The other thing that I highly recommend that I absolutely love is my Thrive Causemetics. This is a tubing mascara and I love taking this when I am on vacation. It's just a must-have. The lashes that I usually apply are the Demi Wispies if you're into full lashes. Lately, I've really been into these and just applying these to the outer edge to kind of give a more open eye flared look. So it's just going to depend on your personal preference. These are from Shein, but you can find them on Amazon. In my beauty store, on my Amazon storefront, you can definitely find under the beauty section different versions of this. It's going to depend on if you like a more dramatic, more natural, but these are absolutely amazing. These are from Shein. You can also find them on Shein. And you can also find this glue on Shein. I used to love the Falscara one, and so I started trying these from Shein. They only last me for a day, but I really like it because it does have the glue on one end, and then it has this type of seal on the other. And I just feel like this type of seal works a lot better and is easier to apply than in the brush form. So next I'm going to do my lips. I love taking on vacation with me or on photo shoots using this one from MAC. This is called Stripdown. And this is just like a perfect nude. And then another one that I absolutely can't live without on vacation or for photos is this. This is the Huda Beauty Demi Matte Dayslayer. To me, this is just a absolutely beautiful, perfect nude. And it literally matches Stripped Down to a T. And I love this shade because it doesn't dry down where it's super matte on your lips, which can accentuate a lot of texture on your lips. So it kind of has like that, a little bit of matte, but still a little bit of creaminess to it. really highly enjoy this one. Before I apply my lashes, something that I always do for photos is use this right here. This is the ambient lighting powder in dim light. I used to have this in a trio and used it up completely, and then I bought the mini version just because I don't need like a full size one yet. But I literally take a powder brush, go in there, swirl it around, and then hopefully you guys are going to be able to tell. But look at my forehead before, and then let me show you guys what this does. So hopefully you guys will be able to tell the difference. It kind of just gives like this glowiness to the skin. And I apply this all over my skin. I just feel like this radiates very beautifully in photos and kind of gives that glow to your skin that you really want. And especially if you have more mature or aging skin, I feel like this is a must-have. This is something that I dust all over my mom's skin, and it just really helps make her look very radiant. And at the same time, okay, I'm trying to apply powder and talk at the same time, but it just makes her look just so glowy and beautiful. I highly recommend the ambient powders from Hourglass. This one I would say is really good for light to medium skin tones, the dim light, but they do have other shades available. I'm going to go ahead and apply mascara and hopefully do some lashes in kind of fast forward, maybe, I don't know, let's see. Or maybe I'll just do one eye on camera because this video is going to be hellified long. So what I do is I go ahead and apply my mascara. So I go ahead and let that dry before applying anything else. Another thing that I do is apply liner to especially the upper waterline. This is by Milk, the Infinity Longwear, and I absolutely love this. And I just kind of take and go in there. And that's just going to help kind of define the eye and also help the lashes look longer. And I'm just going to apply some of these eyelash extensions. I'm going to use the 10mm ones and just apply a few on the outer corner. I'm going to show you guys how I do that. I'm going to take the lash glue, and what I do is just apply a tad bit to the under part of the lash line like this. And then usually I leave the tube like this because I like dipping the ends of the lashes in there. And so I grab them from the bottom, and then once I get them out, I will change the tweezers to grab them from the top. And then I just go into the kind of little barrel and kind of wet the ends like that. This is really hard to do on camera. Okay, and then I just kind of go in and apply them to that outer corner. And I'm just gonna add a little lift to your lashes. I'm gonna take another one and do the same thing, kind of just dip it a little bit into the glue and apply it right next to that one. And if I wanted to, I could continue across. I'm just gonna leave it like that just because I want a little bit of a flare on the outside. I don't want it to look too overly done. And then I'm gonna do the next eye. Once the glue is dry, I go ahead and take the seal, and this is why I love this kind of tip for the seal, is just go ahead and just put the little seal in there. You could also use the seal on the tweezers that you use and kind of just help press everything together so that it looks a little bit more natural and blends in with your lashes. And the seal helps so that it doesn't kind of stick to the glue, but this way it kind of just gives a little bit of flair to the outside and more of a natural look. But if you wanted to get like full-on lashes, you could. Like I said, I love the Demi wispies to add just a full look. I'll try to put a picture here of me looking down in a picture with the Demi wispies, and you can kind of get the feel for it. I did use the Demi wispies in my maternity shoot and also with my son. Okay, and one of these just popped off to piss me off. And then to seal everything in, there's some few setting sprays that I absolutely love. One is the Urban Decay All Nighter. For years on end, I have purchased that, and I feel like it just really locks in your makeup, especially if you're doing outdoor photo shoots and such. It is my go-to. The latest one that I discovered that to me is also very long wearing is this one right here. This is the 1 size. And then the other one that I highly recommend is the Professional Super Setter. These to me are very, very long wearing and just really help lock in your makeup, especially if you're going to be doing makeup outside where you're going to get sweat. I mean, not makeup, if you're going to be doing photos outside. And so you just shake this up. And if you wanted a little bit of a brighter under eye, you could go back into the diffused light, because I have gotten a little bit of, what's it called? Like fallout from my eyeshadows underneath, and that tends to darken it up. And something that I do sometimes right before a photo shoot is I will apply quite a bit of this, like this, kind of just cake it on. And I know it's gonna look a little crazy right now, but I just leave it like that for a few minutes and then dust it off, and it's just gonna give you a super bright under eye. And here is the finished look. If you were to look in a mirror, this is going to look a little heavy. It's not going to be more natural. It's going to look a little bit heavy. If you were to look up close in the mirror, you're gonna see some texture around here. But I feel like these powders really help deflect the light when you are taking photos, and just really helps kind of blur out and make the skin look glowy and very beautiful. I will try to put photos around here from different photo shoots where I have used this type of makeup, and that way you guys can kind of get an idea of what it looks like behind the camera. It is to take into note that a lot of times photographers will put filters or edit pictures as well, and so not necessarily it's going to be really, really raw. They will do little touch-ups here and there to kind of just help with the picture overall to look a little bit more pretty. But I hope that this was helpful. Hopefully you guys found this somewhat helpful. Give it a like if it was. Let me know what your go-to products for photo shoots are. I'd love to hear from you down below, because I'm always looking to try new products. Thank you guys so much for those who are subscribed, and if you want to subscribe, you can hit that little red button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.